Today's video is gonna be a special video dedicated to my girlfriend. Now, I've already sent her an ASMR to put her to sleep, so this is purely for the channel. And I love you, baby. Today, we will be reading a book. I am very tired from my work and I have a headache from the past 2 days. So today I will be reading this book for 10 minutes, and the book's name is Psychology of Money. It is by Morgan Housel. It is offering timeless lessons on wealth, greed and happiness. I have read this book once, but I'm about to read it again just to revise everything. You know, today was a little tiring and I didn't do much today. I've been working on a new video, but that's about it. Do you want to have some ASMR, tapping ASMR first? Let us start reading now. A genius is the man who can do the average thing when everyone else around him is losing his mind. This is a quote by Napoleon. The world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes. This is a very famous line by Sherlock Holmes. When I was watching Sherlock, this line was there and I still remember it. So, the book starts. Introduction: the greatest show on earth. I spent my college years working as a valet at a nice hotel in Los Angeles. One freaking quest was a technology executive. He was a genius, having designed and patenting a key component in Wi-Fi routers in his 20s. He had started and sold several companies. He was wildly successful. He also had a relationship with money I would describe as a mix of insecurity and childish stupidity. He carried a stack of $100 bills several inches thick. He showed it to everyone who wanted to see it and many who didn't. He bragged openly and loudly about his wealth, often while drunk and always apropos of nothing. One day he handed one of my colleagues several $1,000s of cash and said, "Go to the jewelry store down the street and get me a few $1,000 gold coins." An hour later, gold coins in hand, the tech executive and his buddies gathered around by a dock overlooking the Pacific Ocean. They then proceeded to throw the coins into the sea, skipping them like rocks, cackling as they argued whose went the furthest, just for fun. Days later, he shattered a lamp in the hotel's restaurant. A manager told him it was a $500 lamp and he would have to replace it. "You want $500? The executive asked incredulously, while pulling a brick of cash from his pocket and handing it to the manager. "Here's $5,000. Now get out of my face and don't ever insult me like that again." You may wonder how long this behavior could last, and the answer was not long. I learned years later that he went broke. The premise of this book is that doing well with money has a little to do with how smart you are and a lot to do with how you behave. And behavior is hard to teach even to really smart people. A genius who loses control of their emotions can be a financial disaster. The opposite is also true. Ordinary folks with no financial education can be wealthy if they have a handful of behavioral skills. They have nothing to do with formal measures of intelligence. My favorite Wikipedia entry begins. Ronald James Reed was an American philanthropist, investor, janitor, and gas station attendant. Ronald Reed was born in rural Vermont. He was the first person in his family to graduate high school, made all the more impressive by the fact that he hitchhiked to campus each day. For those who knew Ronald Reed, there wasn't much else worth mentioning. His life was about as low-key as they come. Reed fixed cars at a gas station for 25 years and swept floors at J.C. Penney for 17 years. He bought a two-bedroom house for $12,000 at age 38 and lived there for the rest of his life. He was widowed at age 50 and never remarried. A friend recalled that his main hobby was chopping firewood. Reed died in 2014, age 92, which is when the humble rural janitor made international headlines. 2,813,503 Americans died in 2014. Fewer than 4,000 of them had a net worth of over 8 million when they passed away. Ronald Reed was one of them. In his will, the former janitor left $2 million to his stepkids and more than $6 million to his local hospital and library. Those who knew Reed were baffled. Where did he get all that money? It turned out there was no secret. There was no lottery win and no inheritance. Reed saved what little he could and invested in blue chip stocks. Then he waited for decades on end as teeny savings compounded into more than $8 million. That's it, from janitor to philanthropist. A few months before Ronald Reed died, another man named Richard was in the news. Richard Fiscone, if I'm not wrong, was everything Ronald Reed was not. A Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive with an MBA. Fiscone had such a successful career in finance that he retired in his 40s to become a philanthropist. Former Merrill CEO David Kamansky praised Fiscone's business savvy, leadership skills, sound judgment, and personal integrity. Crain's Business magazine once included him in a 40 under 40 list of successful business people. But then, like the gold coin skipping tech executive, everything fell apart. In the mid 2000s, Fiscone borrowed heavily to expand an $18,000 square foot home in Greenwich, Connecticut that had 11 bathrooms, 2 elevators, 2 pools, 7 garages, and cost more than $90,000 a month to maintain. Then the 2008 financial crisis hit. The crisis hurt virtually everyone's finances. It apparently turned Fiscone into dust. High debt and illiquid asset left him bankrupt. I currently have no income, he allegedly told a bankruptcy judge in 2008. So these stories tell you mainly about 2 or 3 things. First one is that you need to save. The second one is that you need to invest, that I'm adding by myself. The author says to save because if you spend it all, you may not have enough for your future planning and the risk that you are about to encounter. And also, I don't want you to get into trouble, so it will be good if you take into consideration what this. It will be good if you take into consideration about what this book has to say. Now I'm just a businessman who is doing his business and I have no job of telling you anything. It's up to you to do it. I love you, baby, if you're watching it. I hope you have slept by now. If not, then please put this on repeat. I love you. Good night. Bye, everyone.